But the thing is, look at that. Look what we just created right there. That's an amazing embroidered effect that we just created right there. Look at that. Boom, 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 boom. Look at that. Look at this, $1,900 yesterday on Etsy. I want to show you exactly how you could do this. And before doing so, this isn't some kind of anomaly. This is something that can happen for you all the time as long as you put in the work and you know exactly how you're doing it properly, right? So for example, got my homie Trayvon over here. Look, cha-ching, cha-ching. One of my other students right here, last 30 days, 65,000. Here's another student, 114,000 in 30 days. And also, I just want to add, I saw y'all's comments for y'all's feedback in the previous video on what kind of future videos you guys want to see. I'm going to dive back into it this next year. We'll possibly start doing more interviews, start actually creating more of the apparel, more products in-house so that you guys can see the process if you want to bring the process in-house. But today we're going to go over print on demand and why you should still leverage it even though you know how to produce your own products. For example, I know majority of you guys know how to create a t-shirt just because that was the origin of this actual YouTube channel itself, just making t-shirts, right? So it's still important for you to leverage print on demand, something like Printify, just because of the fact that, you know, maybe you know how to make a t-shirt, maybe you know how to make a sweatshirt, but that's only 2-3 products out of thousands of products that you could actually leverage. And here's the other thing, whenever it comes to you making products in-house, you might have more profit margin, but you're spending a lot of the time fulfilling the product, packaging the product, and shipping it out. Instead, you can just double down on your product research process, your sales process, and then you can throw out hundreds of different products out there, let the print on demand companies fulfill it, and then that way, whichever ones really work out for you, you can, you know, bring that in-house if you would like. So you can still test multiple different products a whole lot quicker so that you can see results quicker, so that you can see the next steps that you want to take. All right, so first and foremost, product research is important. Why is this? Because when you sell on a marketplace like Amazon, or in this example Etsy, it's a search driven marketplace. You don't need to focus on marketing, you don't need to focus on, you know, creating content and so forth, because these are search driven products. Customers are already looking for these products. They're already warmed up because they're looking for exactly what they want. And how exactly can we guess what they want? Well, over time, your knowledge database, your catalog of keywords naturally grows over time in what you think the customer is looking for. But here are 4 basic things that you can think about that will help you get a real good running start. So you have events, holidays, you have occupations, and hobbies. So this gives you a real simple, easy baseline so that you can always follow through and you always have something to type in. So for example, I'm thinking of an occupation. I typed in doctor sweatshirt. So let's see what actually comes up, right? We have multiple different products. As you can see, I'm using Embroidery. It gives me kind of a preview here. I wish you could kind of recategorize the order that it shows. I wish I could see the dollar amount here instead, but it shows you the monthly sales. You see 7 here, it has a high conversion rate. Let's see what else we got. So I always like to go to the left side, click on product analytics on the left side so that we can just get this full list going on. It's just a whole lot easier to look at. And once I look at it over here, I like to look at this trend chart, the graph, right? It shows me what's really consistent, and then it shows me of like something that might be working, something that might not be working. I also get an idea of what's growing, you know, what's about to take off, right? So that's really important. We have this one right here. This is a nurse sweatshirt and it's a quarter zip, funny enough. So here we have an embroidered quarter zip sweatshirt, and we all know, well, I would hope you would know that embroidery has really high profit margins in-house, but it is, I won't say it's hard to create. It has a little bit of a learning curve, but once you learn it, you know, anyone who has an embroidery machine, I know you guys love those things. But there are certain platforms that also allows embroidery. So for example, now we'll do a little bit going into print on demand and see which embroidery options they actually have on Printify. All right, so I'm gonna come on over here. Here it is right here. We have embroidery, and then we have it on sweatshirts, we have it on t-shirts, we have it on hoodies, we have it on a zip up hoodie, which is fairly similar. So we could actually do a zip up hoodie instead of like the quarter zip itself. Let's see the true price that they're actually selling their product at, around $28 with $5.95 shipping. So what we're going to be looking at in profit, on the left side of Everbee, they have a profit calculator that estimates all the fees as well. So what did we have? We have $5.95, then we have around $28 listed, which really no discount. I think this was already after the discount. So I'm gonna click calculate. I don't know my cost of item yet or my shipping costs. All right, so I'm just gonna leave that blank and I'll come right back to it. Let's see what else we have going on in the embroidery section. Look at that. There's an Adidas quarter zip. Has an Adidas on the side. That's gonna be fairly expensive, and I'm sure it's just because of the fact that it's an Adidas quarter zip. So sometimes if you want to compete, you know, it's really up to you on how far you want to take your business. You know, if you understand the whole process of creating creating the listing and you feel truly confident, like, hey man, I'm about to go get my own embroidery machine and I'm gonna learn how to fulfill this product myself because you're gonna stand out from print on demand. That's an executive business decision that you need to make. But before doing so, you can always test the market using print on demand. That's why print on demand is so important. Print on demand and doing product research. And you can always order yourself a sample so that you can see it ahead of time as well, which I will show you exactly how you could do. So now what I'm also looking at is pricing. A lot of these products might be a little too expensive for me to compete with that specific product type, but I'm sure a sweatshirt we could probably get away with a little bit. So around $27. This one right here is closer to $21. Average is about 2.4 days. So, you know, it's really up to you to decide. $22. Let's go ahead and kind of get an idea of what that would look like if we were going to charge at $28. All right, so it's around 15, around 7 or 6 here. So profit at $8. Honestly, on average, most print on demand profit is going to be anywhere from 20 to 35% on the high end. But honestly, that's a really good profit margin. Although I know how you feel, you might not think so. But if you're not fulfilling a single product and you're just focused on scaling a product, $8 is a really healthy profit margin. So what you would do is go ahead and click start designing over here. So now you click personalized text, personalizable text, right? So here you can also have your own custom text, your custom font that you would like to use. For example, I'm gonna head on this old-fashioned website, the font, and then you can click on, we'll go to, where is script? Do a quick search right here, script. I'm gonna click on script, and then I'm gonna click more options, 100% free, submit, and then let's see which one we can use for this example. Just gonna go with this one right here, creative book. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and open that up. I'm going to extract this file. All right, so now I have the actual folder right here with the actual font in it. I'm gonna hop on back over here, hit upload font. Okay, so the other one actually didn't work because it's an OTF file. I even tried to rename it and see if it'll turn into a true type. I guess Printify only accepts true type font files. So I have this font right here, and boom, we have that right there. And type that in for my placement holder at this point in time. Now you can limit the amount of characters that they could type in, because if they type in a long amount of characters, it's not going to work. Like, you know, it's gonna overflow and whatnot, so you got to be careful with that, right? And then we also need to resize this so that it fits. As you can see right there, it's about 4 inches wide. All right, so now we also need the background text. Typically don't like designing right here in Printify, to be honest, but right now we're using the personalization tool and I'm just using that for the text. So if you still want to create a different type of design, you can do it on a different platform, and then you can come back and use the personalization right here. Get RN right here. I'm gonna move this layer above, and then we'll make this one white, and then we'll change our color options available for our sweatshirt itself. So we're going to choose colors that is still visible, right? Because you can't do black sweatshirt with black text. You can make certain ones only appear in certain colors, but it's just going to be, if it's your first time, it's going to be a whole lot of work, right? And you're just gonna have to be careful with that. So that's just a real simple design. We could do one in the middle like that. Click save product, right? And then now we have all of these mockups. I would suggest you make a mockup on a different platform so that it looks a little bit better, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. So I'm gonna click save selection. And now I just realized I made this in my Shopify store, not my Etsy store. So what I'm gonna do is click save draft and move this over to my Etsy store real quick. If you did it in the wrong store, you want to move it, all you have to do is click these 3 dots and click copy to. So you click on the store you want to move it to, and then you click copy products. You can also copy it to more than one store at one time. All right, so here we are with this listing. You clean all this stuff up, right? And you can use product research, same process we use to find the same design. You can look at winning products, see how they have their title set up, see how they have their description set up, see what kind of tags multiple different types of winning products of this particular niche and similar style design is using. And you can also go from there. Now here you click enable personalization so that they're able to personalize the actual product. Printify makes it super easy now. Literally all you have to do is type in the text and their AI system will pick up the actual text and change it, and then you can review it in your orders before you actually fulfill it. So, you know, it used to be a crazy hassle. It's crazy how they've been able to do this, to be honest. Like years ago, you would never think like something like this was probably probably even be possible. So right here, you can also limit the amount of characters. Typically the longer ones are something for like a paragraph and whatnot. If it's for like a name or whatnot, you want to shorten it. And even if their name is kind of longer, a lot of times people just kind of shorten their actual name. Like, you know, maybe if Nathaniel is beyond the actual limit, typically they just use a nickname for the person like Nate or something. And I know that was just a simple example, but I've seen like long crazy names. They realize it can fit and they just send over some kind of nickname. So anyways, here you can provide the cheaper shipping method if you would like or not. You can assign it to your shipping profile. You should be able to make that inside of Etsy. Typically that's what we like to do as well. We don't like to just use the default Printify shipping profiles, because at the end of the day, if we come on down over here, we're going to click and see here, we see our production cost is $14 and we see our shipping cost is $7.69. So you don't have to charge the customer the same exact format. Sometimes that $7.69 is going to scare the customer away, right? So what you can do is build that into the actual production cost of the actual product, right? So instead of charging $7.69 in shipping, what you can do is like charge $28 for the actual product and charge like $5 for the shipping. As long as your total is above the total that you're paying Printify, then you're good to go and you're actually profitable, right? So always think about that as well. You don't necessarily just want to use the default shipping profile just because that's how much the production partner is charging you. You can always create your own pricing. So just remember to be creative in your pricing right there, right? And I used to be big on free shipping, but I've come to realize charging shipping has seemed to work better. Even like when our Etsy does their rollouts, like when it says, oh, we'll promote products that has free shipping and whatnot, you know, it's never been a huge ordeal where like they limit like your search volume of your actual listing just because, you know, you don't have free shipping. Okay, so what you could do is click publish right here. So now we're going to publish this on over to Etsy. Now how are we going to make that embroidered effect of that design and create our own much better looking version of the mockup? So first and foremost, you can buy mockups directly back on Etsy. Always type in whatever product blank you are using. For example, this sweatshirt right here is a Gildan 18,000. I've always called it a G180. I don't know why there's so much of a discrepancy in the numbers whenever you come into Printify and they do the full numbers. I've always went by G180. All right, so Gildan G180, and as you can see right here, you can see lots of the actual mockups, and they actually match their numbers to Printify as well. I just know when I printed t-shirts back in the day, it just needs to be G180. So I don't know, but anyways, here you have one, just like kind of a flat lay mockup, right? And you can use something like this, and we can head on over to Kittle, and here we have the Etsy photo listing size should be at least 2,000 pixels on the shorter side. So what you can do is head on over to Kittle, and we'll click on new project, and as you can see right here, it says 2,000, right? 2,000. And now you upload one of your mockups, and now we have our mockup, right? So now we need that embroidered effect for that actual design. Also, we made that design on Printify, so how do we go get that design? Honestly, I can't find a design file for the Printify design. Creating a design in Printify, typically you could just go to my files, but that shows you all the designs that you uploaded. What I'm going to do is just click on it over here, and then you can click on the download button, and this will get you pretty close to the actual design. So honestly, I can't really figure out how to download the file, design file from Printify properly, and I showed you guys how to design the design in Printify, which I typically do not. I typically create it in like Kittle or something, and it's a whole lot easier. So now I'm just gonna recreate the design. So all you have to do is just literally make the same exact thing. A lot of times you'll be able to find the same fonts on here. So the other one we have to upload ourselves. So what you can do is click upload font, and then here we have this actual design. So what are we going to do with this, right? Because if we put it on here, and let's move this to the front real quick. If we put this on here, it looks like a direct to garment print, which is not what we want. It looks like a typical print. We want something that looks a little bit more embroidered. All right, so here we have our design, right? So I'm gonna lock this background real quick. Oops, wrong thing. All right, lock the background. All right, so now I'm gonna click the smartboard button and type and turn this into an embroidered effect. Click generate over here, and then do the exact same thing. Just gonna copy paste that, click generate. Okay, so I think we have a slight problem here. So as you can see, I'm guessing it's not picking up the white color. All right, so now what we need to do is we'll take our design files and we give it an embroidered effect, right? So how would you do that? You'll click on it and click add a smartboard, and then you'll type in like turn this design into an embroidered effect. or give this design an embroidered effect. But here's the problem. On white, I'm guessing like the AI system can't really pick up on the color of just actual white itself, so can't really see the design. So sometimes you get something like this where it's just like you just came up with something that's embroidered, right? And another thing is when it comes to something that's in detail or specific and it's kind of basic and like it's not a full-on crazy prompt, usually I'll use ChatGPT because ChatGPT is usually pretty good with like normal human prompt language instead of like you being like embroidered effect, make it look like sweatshirt style design, etc. Right? So now what I did was I made the design black so that the AI system could pick up on it, and then right here I use ChatGPT's prompt system right here, the ChatGPT model instead of the Nano Banana. I said turn this into an embroidered design in white, and then for this one right here I just said click add a smartboard right there, and then I said turn this into an embroidered design. Alright, so now we'll just convert this to an image, also convert this to an image, and then I'm gonna click remove background, also remove background on this one. Then I'm just gonna copy paste this one real quick just to show you guys how it would actually look, right? So now we'll just go ahead and make our two just like this right here, and I'm going to move this to the back. It's not necessarily layered because it's not on the actual artboard. So now it is. Boom. All right, so now I'm going to click that one and I'm going to move it backwards. Now we have this one, and it's not necessarily white. So what you can do is click on photo filter, and we can just turn up the brightness a little bit, and boom, we have it right there. Could probably use a different color mockup. Let's see if we can upload one real quick. So we have a gray one up now. Gonna lock that real quick. Now here's this right here. Look at that. That's better than any kind of embroidered effect design you're gonna get anywhere else. And when it comes to mockups, for the most part, we found some success creating like flat lay mockups using AI. But like a lot of the models and whatnot, it's kind of hit or miss most of the time. And I know you want me to be able to tell you there's like an all-in-one solution, which a lot of times it's kind of hard to say. But the thing is, look at that. Look what we just created right there. That's an amazing embroidered effect that we just created right there. Look at that. Boom, 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 boom. Look at that. All right, so now all you would do is upload this to your Etsy listings, polish it up, and you're on your way. You got a personalized item, you have an embroidered item. All you have to do is whenever you post this, don't just wish for the absolute best, like you're gonna be making $10,000-$20,000 per month just based off of this. You might, but at the same time, continue to polish up your listings, continue to post more listings. Practice makes perfect. That's the best thing about this. Some of my best students that do $10,000, $20,000, $30,000+ a month, it's because of the fact that year over year they practice. Last year they knew of 2 winning Christmas niches. This year they know of 5. The next year they're gonna know of 10. So it's all just depending on how willing you are going to stick to this and how long are you willing to stick to it so that you can become better at it. All right, so if this video helped you out, comment, like, subscribe. I got links to Printify, Kiddo, all that down below.